Well, hello, rock tumbling fanatics, Lapidary lovers. Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, it's time to check in on one of my rock tumblers. And what are we going to look at this time? Well, we're going to look at the big tumbler back here, the 12 pounder that I keep in rough all the time. All my rough rock generally goes through the 12 pounder until it's smooth enough to move on to the finer grits. So, every week I open it up, I sort through it. I don't show you every week I do it, otherwise it gets really repetitive. But today we're going to do it. I'm going to pull it off of here, dump the rocks out, rinse them off good. We'll take a look at them under the lights over at the bench and sort through them and see what's ready to move on, what needs to go back in the drum over here for some more rough treatment, and we'll find some other rocks to fill up the drum because I'm sure some will come out. So we want to put it back on with a full load. So let me get started. I'll be back once I've got these dumped out, rinsed off, and over at the bench. Okay, so they're all cleaned off. I'm going to keep them wet so that any that are ready to move forward can stay wet until I get them in an ultrasonic bath and get them cleaned up. Now, the way this works, if you haven't seen my videos before, is I've got a bucket of water over here, and I've got the drum that they were in over here, and anything that's not ready to move forward is going right back in the drum. Anything that is ready is going to go in this bucket of water, so it'll stay wet until I get them in the ultrasonic bath, so any grit impacted into any nooks and crannies doesn't dry up like concrete and won't come out. So that's why. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. Like I said, I'm going to keep them wet right off the bat. When I got my new trim saw, my 10-inch Raytech trim saw from my buddy Jim, I bought it from him. I went a little nuts and just cut all kinds of stuff with the Raytech trim saw. And a lot of stuff I cut's going to be in here. And this is half of a strange thunder egg that I cut in half. It's got 3 areas of chalcedony in it. Very strange looking thunder egg. This side of it's kind of rough. I'm afraid it's going to break in half actually looking at it. I'm thinking I may need to move it forward just before it disintegrates. The side with the chalcedony is pretty, and it's all nice and rounded off. So I think I'll move it forward, even though it's not as smooth as I would like. Here's the other half of it down here. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, the back, the outside, the crust is never going to be nice, but, well, this is the money face right here. So, again, it looks like it's in danger of falling apart. So we'll move it forward rather than keep tumbling it with all these big rocks in here harshly because, well, it'll probably get all broken up. So here's some banded rhyolite I got out at Picket Post Mountain in Arizona, and this is looking really good. It's looking really good. I mean, it's still too rough to move forward, but wow, it's looking pretty. At least to me, it is. I thought it might. It's kind of soft. It hasn't been in rough for long, and it's really smoothed out. But it's got some issues that need to be hopefully further smoothed out. So we'll put that in the drum to go a little longer. Keep it all wet here. What do we got? Got some adventurine. I got rockhounding in Wyoming. This is pretty close to being done. Pretty darn close to being done. It's just got one rough area over here. Let's see, I got a couple pieces of adventurine out there. Yeah, it's gotten a lot smaller, but it's gotten a lot smoother too. It's still got one area. It's a little concave over here, so it's taken a long time, but I think I'm going to let it go a little while longer. Ooh, I got some rocks here that I got in Tucson at the Gem and Mineral Show when I was out there 2 months ago. Not quite 2 months ago now. Got some lace agate here. I got some small pieces for tumbling and some bigger pieces for cutting. That's coming along nice. Look at the eyes in that. Isn't that cool? And yeah, it's just not quite ready to move on yet, so that's going back in the drum. Got a Malawi agate here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But again, it's not quite ready to move on. What do we got here? This looks like a prairie agate. Yeah, this might be a prairie agate I cut in half. The cool colors on it. It's actually very close to being ready. It's got a rough area over here. So I'm going to put it back in the drum for at least another week. The longer I'm into rock tumbling, the more critical I am about my rocks, I have to say. I would have moved this forward, 6 months, a year ago. But now I'm going to put it in for another week. It's because I know it can be better. And it's not a small rock, so it's not going to tumble away to nothing. So we'll go for another week. Oh, look at that. Look at the colors in that. I do hope they're coming through. I've got the sun in my eyes and I can't really see on the viewfinder. Yeah, I think the colors are actually more vivid than they're showing up on the camera. So yeah, let's see. I got this agate from my buddy Jim. What did he say it was? I can't remember now. Jim, chime in the comments and remind me what this is. But it's got calcite in the center, which is undercutting pretty badly. In fact, everywhere there's calcite showing it's undercutting. But I would say the chalcedony is not quite as smooth as I would like, but the undercutting is getting so bad that I'm going to move it forward rather than continue tumbling it and see if we can make something really pretty out of it here. That is amazing. Some more lace agate. These edges are just so sharp. I don't know if this is ever going to amount to anything. But I'm going to tumble it for a little while longer just because the edges are so sharp. I know that it won't take a good polish along the edges. More lace agate. Again, kind of rough. Got some fissures, some pits, rough areas. We're going to let it go another week. This is some TP Canyon. Kind of an unusual fortification pattern to it. I'd never seen TP Canyon look like that before, but I know it's TP Canyon because deeper in the agate nodule, it was definitely TP Canyon. So I just tumble in the heel, see how it turns out. Starting to look pretty good. Not ready to go forward yet, though. I think that is a piece of petrified wood, but I think it's falling apart. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to turn that into a nice looking rock. I think it's just going to crumble on me. So I think I'm going to set this one aside, just take it out. Sometimes rocks, you just can't do anything with them. They look good going into rough, but they never clean up very well. Let's see. This is part of a carnelian agate. This has not been in here very long, but it is. It's coming along. It's almost smoothed out enough to move on, but not quite. Here's some more of that pick and post rhyolite. Now this one might be ready to move on. It's got this deep pit in it, but that's never ever going to clean up. I mean, I'd have to tumble the whole rock away to get rid of it. But otherwise, it's looking really good. And I know this rhyolite's pretty soft. So I think the little divots and rough areas it has will continue to clean up even in the next grit. So we're going to move it forward. Let's see. Another agate. I got it Tucson. Cut it in half. Wasn't really pleased with it. Doesn't really have that much in the way of banding in it, so I decided to tumble it. It's coming along, but again, it's not quite ready. Look at this plumy stuff. This is something I got from my buddy Jim. Yeah, I'm really being critical, but I would throw this in for another week at least because it's got a rough area here and a fissure and a divot, but it's also getting thin and skinny, and I think if I keep it banging around with these other rocks, it's just going to break in half at some point. So we'll move it forward and see how it cleans up in the finer grits. What do we got? Oh, more lace agate. Oh, that is going to be pretty. Wow, it's already pretty. Kind of plumy over here, and it's all lacy and colorful up here. Wow. Not happy about this pointy knob sticking out. I might have to do something about that. I might set this rock aside and cut this knob off just because at some point it's going to break off. And if I get rid of it, the rock will tumble a little quicker. So I'm going to set this one aside just to modify it a little bit. That's a nice little tip for you. You can get your rocks tumbled quicker if you clean them up, a little bit with a flat lap or, a saw. Just, round out the corners, cut the knobs off, things like that. This is another area right here that's going to be problematic. Maybe I'll cut that off too. And this rock will tumble up a lot quicker. You know, it won't have to be in rough for another month or 2 months. It's already been in there for a long time. What we got here? We had a couple pieces. Obviously, I cut on my saw. Ooh, I know what this is. This is some plumy stuff my wife and I found when we were out hunting for lysite agate at the base of Lysite Mountain. We found some lysite agate, but we also found some strange plumy agate that I don't recognize as being lysite agate. It doesn't look like lysite agate, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of pretty. It's coming along. But I think both pieces need to go into the drum for another week or so. This is some sort of... I'm not sure what this is. It might be quartzite, colorful quartzite. I would say it's almost ready to go forward, except for this one area. And I remember this area from last week, and it's gotten a lot smaller. So we'll give it another week, and hopefully this will get smoothed out. Looks like another bubblegum agate. Oh, I know where I got this. I found this one in Nebraska when we were out agate hunting in Nebraska. Yeah, I found this bubblegum agate out there. All right. And I would say this was ready to move forward. This has been in rough for quite a while, so it's very smooth. So we're going to move it forward. Some agate-looking rock I found in was it Wyoming? Yeah, it was Wyoming. I remember it now. I found this out in Wyoming. And that looks agate. Let me tumble it. Well, it's not turning out to be very pretty, and it's not quite ready to go forward. I'm going to tumble it another week at least and see how it looks. Got some Wyoming banded iron here. Now that's, ooh, almost. Well, I don't know. That fissure kind of goes all the way through. I think I'm going to have to move this rock forward, even though it's not quite as smooth as I would like it, because this fissure goes all the way through the rock. And if I keep tumbling it, this rock's going to eventually split in half. But we can make the part that's not fissured pretty. We move it forward. Here's an interesting rock I found out at Picket Post Mountain. I've already tumbled this all the way to polish once, but I wasn't really happy with it. So I put it back in rough again. And while I'm still not happy with it, it's an interesting rock. It's clearly an agate. It's snow white agate. Tends to saturate my camera. But it's got all these little clear chalcedony windows over here on this side. And some pink and some orange in it. I can see it's starting to develop a fissure. You know, that fissure was probably always there, but I've exposed it. So again, I'm going to move this forward just because if I keep tumbling, it's going to break up. I know from experience, when I look at a rock and I see those fissures in it, I know it's going to fall apart if I keep tumbling it. This is some interesting petrified wood. Pretty sure I got this at the Dobell Ranch in Arizona. I get around. Arizona, Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, you name it. Anyway, this area over here, obviously a chunk broke off, and there's a bit of a fissure there. The rest of the rock's looking pretty good, but I think we'll just put it back in there and see if we can get it tumbled a little better. Aventurine again. Got a fissure right through there. Will that tumble out? Probably not. I think I'm going to move this one forward again, just so this fissure doesn't wind up breaking the rock in half when it's bouncing off these other rocks in here. So the finished rock will have a fissure in it, but I think it'll be pretty anyway. I was talking about cutting everything in sight in half with my new trim saw. So this is a little agate. I cut it in half. It's got some banding in it. Got a quartz pocket. Got some tubes. Not super pretty, but I threw it in just to see how it would tumble. And you know what? I think it's done pretty good. I think it's ready to move forward. It's got, you know, some deep pits over here, but I'll never get rid of them without tumbling the rock away entirely. I think the other half of it's in here somewhere too. We'll see if we can find it as we go through this. I think this is some Arizona petrified wood that I found out on BLM land. Yeah, it's kind of weird looking wood. It's got a lot of chalcedony through here. Got some black chalcedony, some red chalcedony. Yeah, kind of mottled red and black there. It's coming along, but it's not quite ready. The surface is still very rough, so we'll do that. Some banded iron, again from Wyoming. Well, it's got fissures in it, but I'm hoping we can tumble them out and still have a pretty rock left. I mean, it's definitely getting smoother than it was the last couple of weeks. Look at the colors. Look at I hope they're coming through. Look at the colors in there. Wow. And it's a super heavy rock. It's mostly hematite, obviously, from the weight. But it's got different colors of jasper in it, too. It's got reds, yellows, oranges. Yeah, that's a cool rock, and I hope it comes out pretty. I hope we can just grind these surface fissures away and have a pretty rock left. Some more of that Arizona petrified wood from BLM land. Again, it's not ready, and I hope this area will smooth out a little better. Actually, you know what? If it just breaks in half along that fissure, the two halves might tumble up nice. You know what? I'm tempted to set this one aside. I think I'll take a chisel to it, and I will actually break it along that fissure, and then throw the two halves back in. And now just speed the process up, because I know that's what's going to happen, and I know that's the only way to make it pretty. So we're just going to help this rock along. Here's some interesting rock, purple stuff. Purple, green, and white stuff, actually. You know what? I have no clue where I got this rock. I really don't. Obviously, I cut it in half. So I must have seen something in it I liked. Maybe the green. I found purple. This edge is just sharp as a knife. That really needs to be rounded over more. I'm tempted to take it to the flat lap. I think I will. I'll set that aside, take it to the flat lap. I'll just round this side over nicely, put it back in here for another week, and then it should be ready to move on. I think this is more banded jasper than banded iron. It's not that heavy, and I don't see any obvious hematite in it. That needs to tumble longer. Oh yeah, that's a piece of an end piece of some plumy jasper agate I cut on my saw. I just threw it in here to see if it would tumble. Hasn't been in here for long, and it definitely needs to go longer. What in the wide world of sports have we got here? Some kind of agate. I think this is another one we found out at Lysite Mountain in Wyoming when we were rockhounding out there. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. And I thought it was too small to cut, so I decided to tumble it. I can see it's got some clear chalcedony there. It's got a nice window of clear chalcedony. I can see deep into the rock. It's got some interesting colors and patterns. This side's probably never going to clean up nice, but we'll see if we can make it just a little bit smoother. I'll give it another week at least before I decide to move it forward. What do we got here? Look at the pluminess in that. This is some sort of plumy jasper agate. I found this in Nebraska. I remember finding it. And you know what? I think I'm going to move it forward, because most places it is really smooth. It's got one rough area here, but I don't think that's really going to clean up without making the rock a lot smaller. So we'll move it forward. The rock just won't be perfect, but most of my rocks never end up perfect. So let's see, what do we got here? We got a Montana moss agate that I got from my buddy Jim. That is pretty. It's also pretty smooth and pretty rounded. And I think that one is ready to move forward. That's going to be pretty rock when it's done. It's ready to go. Speaking of Montana moss agate, here's a heel off one I cut. Look at the moss in there. Cool. This has not been in here quite as long. It's still very rough in most places. The edges are quite sharp. We're going to tumble it a while longer. Some more of that lace agate. Ooh, this is getting close. This is getting close. The corners are kind of rounded over. Smooth in most places. Got a couple of rough spots, but we're going to give it another week. I found that this lace agate is very hard. So Even though this is a fairly small rock, I don't think it's going to disappear in another week or two, so we'll give it a little more time. Another bubblegum agate. That's probably about as smooth as that's going to get. It's got some pits and some quartz pockets that are undercutting. The quartz is obviously softer than the agate. So I'm going to move that forward because I just don't think it's going to get any smoother no matter how long I tumble it. So put that in a bucket. Another piece of carnelian agate I threw in there. It's not ready to move forward yet. More lace agate. Again, not ready to move forward. This lace agate has only been in here for a couple weeks. It's, like I said, it's hard. It's going to take a while. What do we got here? This is a piece of an agate I bought at a rock shop in Nebraska. It's the heel. I cut some slices off of it. I considered face polishing it because it's got such plumy niceness on it. But yeah, you know what? I'll just throw it in the tumbler and tumble it. So it's getting nice, but it's not quite ready to move forward yet. This is some more Wyoming banded iron. This piece, I think, is ready to move forward. Here's another piece of it. Let's see here. Oh, this is getting smooth. Yes. This banded iron is very hard. It's probably the hardest rock I tumble. And it's been in rough for a long time. It's got one deep divot right there. But I know it's going to take another month or two in rough to get rid of that divot. So I'm not going to bother with it. This is going to be a very pretty rock everywhere else. So we're going to move it forward because it's very smooth everywhere else. Here's another piece of that agate I cut with my trim saw. Was kind of disappointed with the bands inside, so I decided to tumble it rather than do anything else with it. So it's not quite ready to move forward. Looks like more Montana moss agate. Now this is very smooth, except in a couple of places. That might just need another week. So here's the other half of that agate I showed you earlier that I cut in half with the trim saw with the quartz pocket, the tubes, and the subtle banding and colors. I think I moved the other half forward. I'm going to move this half forward too. It's nicely rounded and smooth on this face, and this face is never going to clean up. So let's move it forward. Well, we're getting down to it here. It's like we got another bubblegum agate. It's just a little too rough to move forward. It needs more time. Here's another piece of the plumy agate stuff my wife and I found out at Lysite Mountain. In fact, here's some graveyard plume agate, graveyard point plume that I got from my buddy Jim. And here's the stuff we found out at Lysite Mountain. Now, they're probably 1,000 miles apart, the two locations, but the agates, very similar, surprisingly. Anyway, I took a bunch of slices off this rock, and I decided I was just going to tumble the rest of it. And I think it's going to be really pretty. It's got plumes in it. It's got droplets of moss. It's got all kinds of stuff. Got some colors. But it is not ready to go forward. It's probably only been in here for about a week. So back in the drum. And speaking of the graveyard point plume, this is some really pretty stuff. I got some amazing slices off of a couple of pieces of graveyard point plume that will probably make amazing cabs. And then the less interesting slices, I just decided to tumble. This is one of them, even though I think it's going to be very pretty once it is fully tumbled, but it's not ready either. And what's this? This is another piece of that graveyard point plume. This is the heel. Again, not quite ready, but it's going to be very pretty when it is. Petrified wood. Yeah, this is some more Arizona petrified wood again, I think from the Dobell Ranch. Almost, not quite. Like I said, I'm getting fussy in my old age about my rocks. More lace agate. This is Mexican crazy lace. Very colorful, very pretty. And I'm going to move this one forward. It's got one really deep divot there and one undercut quartz pocket, but otherwise it's very smooth. And, there's no point in leaving it in rough any longer. Another piece of lace agate. This one's not very lacy. Yeah, I don't know. It's not very smooth either, but I'm going to move it forward just because it's so small. I don't know. It may not turn out to be anything, but there's no point in grinding it away to nothing. Help me out, Jim. Were these Baker Ranch agates or I forget. I forget. It's something I got from Jim. Anyway, I've ground the brown crust off of it, and there's some sort of blue-gray chalcedony underneath. Again, it's getting small, so I think we'll just move it forward because it's small. I'd like to lose more of that crust. It may come off in the finer grits. We'll see. Wow, very colorful in places, and very clear in other places. Agate that I really have no clue where I got. I don't remember. That is some pretty stuff, though. And I'm going to move it forward. I think it's ready to go. I mean, it's got some deep pockets in it. They're never going to grind out. And I don't want to lose this color, which looks like it's close to the surface. So I'm going to stop rough grinding it, and we're going to move it forward. A slice out of a Malawi agate here. Got some nice red and purple bands in it and some white water line. I'm going to move that forward. I think it's nicely rounded. More petrified wood. Oh, wow. You could cut yourself on that. That's so rough. So that definitely needs to go back in for a little while longer. Some red Jasper here. Oh, that's nicely smoothed out. That's ready to move forward. Ooh. It's pretty. I don't remember where I got it. I have no clue what it is, but man, it's pretty. Look, it's got some nice green in it. And red, orange, yellow, white, brown, gray. Wow. I no idea. It's ready to move forward. Another little slice of Montana moss agate, which I'm going to move forward. It's a little rough on the edges, but it's also thin, and I don't want it to break if I keep tumbling it with these big rocks in rough. Look at the little droplets of moss in there. Is that cool or what? I hope they are showing up. Let me get a better focus on it. Yeah, look at those little black droplets of moss in there. Is that cool or what? I probably should have made a cabochon out of that, but it's too thin, I think. More Montana moss agate. Is that what that is? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember. This one had a lot of white crust on it, and I wanted to see what it looked like under the crust. And, well, it's got some interesting patterns in it. I got some slices out of this agate, too. This is the heel. So that needs to tumble just a little while longer. And another Montana moss agate. Now, this one's ready to go forward. It's very smooth. See the moss in there. A little bit of color, too. A little bit of orange, brown, along with the black moss. That's cool. Look at the droplets in there. Wow. Nice. That's ready to move forward. This is a pretty rock. No clue where I got it or what it is, but it's a pretty rock, and it's very smooth. It's moving forward. And pretty much ditto. Again, I have no clue what it is or where I got it. It's pretty. It's ready to move forward. This is, I'm pretty sure, some more of that Arizona petrified wood. That is just too rough on this side. I don't know. This one may just grind away to nothing without getting smooth. We'll see. And then a shard that broke off something. Oh, I know. That broke off of that piece of plumy jasp agate. Well, it's too small to do anything with, so we'll just throw it out. Okay, so I've got these three rocks over here that I need to modify. I will hit them with the flat lap, maybe the saw, and a hammer and chisel on this one, and then they'll go back in here in the drum for another week, and we'll see how they look after that. I'll bet they'll be pretty much ready to move forward. This one might need a couple of weeks because the broken faces might be really rough. But hey, we did pretty good. I mean, we got a lot of rocks here that are ready to move forward. This is more than usual when I empty this out every week. Usually it's like maybe half that many rocks are ready to move forward. And we've got a lot of room in the drum. I need to find some more rocks to put in there to make a full load so we can get this going again. Okay, so here's the stuff I'm going to put in the drum to make up the whole batch here because the drum level is getting low. Got a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of stuff I got in Tucson. Some more lace agate. That's a big piece. That's going to take a while. More lace agate. More lace agate. I bought a lot of tumbler-sized pieces of lace agate out there when I was at the Keno show in Tucson. That's lace agate underneath that crust. And so is that. And this is the heel off of a big piece of lace agate I was slicing on my trim saw. I got some really nice pieces off the trim saw. That's going to make some nice cabs. We'll just tumble the heel. Another piece of that graveyard point plume agate left over from cutting slabs. From cutting slabs. Another piece of carnelian agate. Some kind of agate, really, really impressively red and purple on this side. There's a little window there. It's very thin. Thought about cutting it to expose more, but I thought, nah, it's too thin, too small, not worth the effort. There's another window over here with red and purple. Might be Malawi. I think it's Malawi. Probably stuff I got in Tucson. We'll tumble that, see how it turns out. Speaking of Malawi, there's a Malawi agate. And here's another. Got some kind of weird agate here. Don't know what it is. Very colorful. Got a little bit of waterline in it. And just blotches of color. It's the heel. We'll tumble it, see what we get. I don't know what this rock is. I don't have a clue. It's got pink inclusions in it. I found this on the roadside when I was driving through Texas. Had to stop and look in the road cuts. Didn't find too much interesting in there, but I found this and I kept it. We'll tumble it. It may tumble away to nothing, or it may tumble into something pretty. We'll see. Ditto. Yeah, ditto. Here's another interesting rock I found in Texas. Looks like it's got lots of crystals in it. Maybe some kind of porphyry. I don't know. We'll tumble it, see what happens. Lace agate. Lace agate. Petrified wood. More of that weird TP Canyon agate. You can actually see some TP Canyon fortification there in this slice. It may break up or it may tumble up nice. We'll see. Throw it in. Again, this is possibly Malawi agate. I am not certain what it is. It's got a couple windows. I don't know. Anyway, it's too thin to cut, so we're going to tumble it. So we'll see what happens when we tumble some of this crust off. It might be, I can see it's got a tube right there that goes way deep into it. That window is super transparent. This might be a pretty rock when it's tumbled. This, again, I'm not sure what it is, where I got it, whether it'll tumble or just disintegrate, but we'll throw it in the drum and see what happens. Okay, so here's our new batch. I'll get some water and grit on it. Here's the 3 rocks I want to modify. It's getting late. It's getting dark. I'm going to have to bring this to a close here. I will modify these this week, and next week when I empty out the tumbler, I will throw them in at that point. So let me dump some water out of this bucket full of rocks that are moving forward. Get it in here. Get some water in here. All right, about there should be good. Let me get some grit. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1 for good measure. And I know that seems like a lot of grit. I know from experience that in a week, when I open this drum up, that grit is going to be ground down to the consistency of graphite. Okay, and it won't be doing any more grinding action at that point. So, yeah, I know how my 12-pound tumbler works with long experience. Okay, so let me get this on the tumbler and get it going for another week. And then I will break into it and have a look and see what we got then. What needs to move forward and what needs more time and what I want to put in it to fill up the load. So the drum's back on the tumbler, spinning again, making the rocks pretty. Speaking of pretty rocks, look at that. These are the rocks that are ready to move forward. So these are ready to go on to stage 2. First, they need an ultrasonic bath, but it's getting late. I'm losing the light fast out here in my outdoor lab. So I think I'm just going to set these aside until tomorrow or the next day and do them then. And speaking of setting aside, here's the rocks I need to modify. I will take them to the flat lap and grind down sharp edges, make them round. I will cut off pointy knobs and probably smooth them out again with the flat lap so they won't have to be in rough for very long. I'm going to take this one, hammer and chisel, bust it in half along this seam. So I'll have 2 rocks, which hopefully will turn out nice. But again, it's getting late, so I will probably do that sometime this week and put the pieces in my box of rocks that need to go into rough the next time I empty the rough tumbler out. But wow, are those some pretty rocks or what? Look at that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they're turning out. I mean, they still got a lot of stages to go before they're polished, but I think they're coming along nicely. I think they're getting pretty. So I'm pretty happy with how things are going so far. If you guys are happy with my rocks, happy with this video, happy with my tumbling process, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see future videos. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. I got to get in the house. It's getting late. Bye.